Thank you to everybody for coming to this webinar today. We're so happy that you're here. We're going to talk a little bit about how construction companies can take on bigger jobs and grow their businesses with financing. And we are going to dive right in if that's okay with you guys. Our speakers today are Rain Martin, our construction financing expert here at Levelset. Hey, Rain.
Hey, how is everybody?
Awesome. Adam says he's doing pretty good for a Thursday.
Gotta love it. Gotta
love it. We also have Andrew Dunn, our Vice President of Financial Products. How you doing today, Andrew?
Hey, everybody, doing well.
Awesome. Andrew, do you want to tell us a little bit about Levelset?
Sure. Thanks, Karen. Good afternoon. Welcome to everybody. So many of you may be familiar with Levelset, but those who aren't, what we do is we help thousands of contractors and suppliers protect and speed up construction payment. We help you send payment paperwork electronically. We help you find accurate project details, and we alert you when we see payment problems on one of your projects. And we want to make sure that you all have cash to grow your business, and that's what we want to talk about today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so these are some of the questions that we're going to answer today. First, we're going to talk about why positive cash flow is so hard to achieve and maintain. We're going to talk about why financing is a viable solution to that problem. We're also going to share some warm and fuzzy success stories about how that worked for other construction companies. And then we're going to have time for questions and answers. I do encourage you to ask your questions in real time, throw them in the chat, and we'll get to as many as we can. So throw them in there at any point, and we'll either salt and pepper them in throughout the webinar, or we'll get to them at the end during that question and answer section. All righty. So our first question today is, why is positive cash flow so hard to accomplish? Andrew, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. The contractors that we talk to and that we work with, they're getting squeezed from every angle. Construction is one of the slowest paying industries, 84 days on average. But the people that you need to make payments to, your crew, your material suppliers, even your subs, they don't want to wait 84 days. Can you imagine if you install an HVAC system on a property, on a new building, and as you're finishing up for a day, you turn to your crew and say, hey, y'all, great work. We'll send you a paycheck in 90 days. That wouldn't work. You would lose your crew. You wouldn't have a crew anymore. But this is what happens to contractors. They all have this squeeze, and we see the squeeze every day, and we talk to customers who face the squeeze, and it makes cash flow very challenging.
That's really a great point, Andrew. That's, people are inclined to kind of take care of their own interests. And, those GCs, the homeowners, the developers, whoever it is that's running those jobs that you're doing the work for, they're going to be taking care of themselves at the end of the day. And that's why it makes it so difficult to manage the cash flow as a contractor. In all honesty, you kind of have the odds stacked against you. The deck is stacked against you because you have to do the work to get paid. And sometimes you're having to provide that money up front. That's just not always feasible. It doesn't always work that way to where that's going to always work the best out for you. So I don't know. I think we lost maybe Kara just for a second.
That's right. When she comes back, we'll do the deck. But I'll tee you up. I'll tee up the next question for you, Rain. And why is financing jobs up front a solution to this cash flow problem?
Really financing jobs up front, it allows to create cash flow top of mind, puts cash flow top of mind. And that's really the most important thing for businesses every single day. If you have cash flow, you can do more as your business. You can keep more cash in the business on a day-to-day basis and make sure that you're there to cover, your labor costs, your day-to-day expenses, your rent, your mortgage, your emergency expenses that can come up. You want to be able to cover all those. And that's why financing helps. It keeps that cash flow top of mind, and it enables your business to continue to grow.
Yeah, and I'll add to that is that when you look at the suite of financing tools available to you, so there's factoring, there's lines of credit, there's working capital loans. You could throw these payments on a credit card. And when we started talking to contractors, one of the things we quickly got to was helping them think about how to finance projects up front. Basically, because that's when you face the cash crunch, right? So for many contractors at the start of a job, they have to go pay for materials. The job has barely started. Their crews and subs might not even be on the job site yet, but they're already starting out and they owe money for materials. And so it makes this very tricky game you have to pay. And so financing up front is one of the tools we found to be most helpful to contractors.
Yeah, and I kind of like you mentioned, there are other options out there. There's factoring, which involves taking your invoice, and that factoring company would basically pay you out a certain percentage of that invoice, somewhere around 80 to 85%. But they like to have more control over a larger base and not just individual invoices. So that's kind of where that can come into advantage, disadvantage. You probably want to use them just for one or two one-offs, but it doesn't always work that way. And then speaking to credit cards, yeah, it's great. You can get points, you can do what you need to do, but at the end of the day, I've always preached that you never want to put something on a credit card that you don't know when you're going to be able to pay it off. And my steadfast rule is don't put it on there unless I can pay it in 30 days. And with these jobs, if you're putting materials on there, you don't know that you're going to be able to pay those off in 30 days or 45 days or 83 days. And then you're just accumulating interest that's out there. With financing, you're financing specifically for your project, for your materials, and you know exactly what you're paying for. You know your terms, you know how long you can pay it off. So.
Awesome. So I do apologize. I was having some technical difficulties on my end. Hope everybody out there is doing okay. Awesome. So I missed a little bit, but we talked about why did we go ahead and cover why financing is good for, okay, excellent. Thank you guys so much. I apologize. Now we want to talk about some success stories from real construction companies. And Andrew, I know you had some really great examples for us on this one.
Sure. One of my favorite examples of somebody who's had a success story with financing their materials up front is this company out of Miami that does custom millwork for a lot of hotels and condos, that kind of thing down in Miami. So what they do is they purchase raw materials, often with cash, and then they have to measure, cut, assemble, and install. All of this whole process takes a really long time. And materials financing has helped breathe new life into their business. They found us 4 months ago and now have already done 10 jobs with us. Now they've aligned the way they pay for materials with the way they get paid. We remove the upfront stress for them, and they know they have a partner in us in helping them pay for materials.
And to kind of piggyback off that, I'll throw out kind of a different scenario for us. We have a company in the Northeast that has been able to successfully use this as well, but it was 6 months. He's only been in business 6 months. And so he thought he was going to be starting small, taking small projects and just slowly building up his business. However, life had other plans, and those other plans included him winning a bunch of jobs that he did not expect to win at this point in time in his business growth. So he had all these opportunities to do these jobs, but didn't know where the cash was going to come from to be able to fund the materials for him and to start that process moving forward. And his options were limited. After being only open for 6 months, it's not like he can go to the bank. He can't go to the suppliers that he hasn't had a relationship with and ask for different terms. He needed an option, and he needed something that could really help him. So we were able to help him get those first few projects done. He's won 3 more projects that are coming over the next couple months that we're going to be helping him with. And he wouldn't have been able to do that without having the option to finance those materials up front. So that's kind of it's a little bit of a different direction, but that's one that we were able to help out as well and see really benefit from this.
That's awesome. I think both of those stories are really great and really speak to why it's important to not only look at all of the options that you have as a business owner in the construction industry, but why financing is a great option among those. So again, I apologize. I missed some of the stuff in the beginning, but I would love to open it up to a few questions. Does anybody have any questions that's burning a hole in their pocket? My chat also went down. So if there were any questions that came into the chat, I can't see them. So pop them back in there, or Rain and Andrew, if you see any in the chat that you want to tackle, let's take a look real quick. Okay, well, I'm going to ask a question, and this may have been answered previously, so just tell me if it already has. But when we're talking about financing a project and the options that you have surrounding financing, what are some of the top options that are out there? So there's financing, there's taking out a line of credit or putting it on a credit card. I know I heard the tail end of that. I love that rule of thumb as well, Rain, where if you can't pay it off in 30 days, it doesn't belong on there. So I think that's great. What were some of the other top ones that we discussed?
So what we see out there is we have some people doing factoring of invoices, right? Factoring is a very invasive process. A factor is going to come in and really do a deep dive into your business. It's hard to shake off a factor. There's lines of credit for a bank, right? But many banks don't like to lend to construction. It may be hard to be approved by a bank. There's credit cards, right? That's another way that you can finance a business, but that's just increasing your debt. There's working capital type loans, which from banks, which are similar lines of credits, but also have their challenges. So those are sort of the suite of options that we see. One reason that we like materials financing is that it's a little bit easier to underwrite. The approval process is a lot simpler compared to some of those others. If you came and did materials financing with us, you'd see that it's a very quick process. We can usually turn you around in as little as a day of reviewing your project, reviewing your history, and that kind of thing. We also like it because we help align the way you purchase materials with the way you get paid, right? So if you're financing something up front, or say you're putting those materials on the credit card, right? That's going to eat into your credit card limit, and that credit card bill is going to be due, or you're going to be paying lots of interest on it in 60 days. The way we've set things up, the way things get set up with materials financing is that the way you pay for materials matches the way you get paid on your jobs. So you pay for materials when you get repaid, instead of having to do it upfront. And that could be a game changer for you if you're trying to grow your business, take on more jobs, or take on bigger jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for reiterating that for me. Something else that I think, I know we have a couple of current customers on this call, and how does financing your materials, work with some of the other things that Levelset offers, like our lien rights management and our legal guard offering? Do you feel like that toolkit all kind of works together in protecting and growing businesses? And this is for both Rain or
I do think it goes hand in hand. I think whenever you equip your business and you equip yourself with the ability to cover yourself no matter what comes up and protect yourself going forward, I think that's really the goal of your business, is to grow, but also protecting yourself along the way. And that's what Levelset as a whole does. We try to protect. Levelset tries to protect the customer and our clients, and trying to make sure that they have every tool at their disposal, all the research that could possibly be needed, and the ability to move forward in a confident way.
Awesome. I love that. Well, it looks like we got a couple questions rolling in from Stephanie Bell. She says, what if you had a bad credit score and have only been in business for about 7 months? What advice can we give to Stephanie?
So credit's not the end all be all for us. Credit is obviously credit's always a factor. However, it's not the end all be all. We have a robust underwriting system that we operate off of, and a lot of it is lien rights based, more so than credit based. So we look at project specific underwriting. Whenever we look at credit, it's really just from a soft view perspective. We're not diving in, doing a deep dive, trying to get in deep in there and trying to figure out what all's happened in your past. We're just getting an overview to know, make sure everything looks okay and that we can continue forward. But really, we're looking at projects and we're looking at the lien rights on those jobs. And so no, bad credit would not disqualify at all. And only being in business 7 months, that's we're here to help. That's something that can be helped. For example, the customer that I used, he's only been in business 6 months, and he's been able to do a few jobs already. So, and he's really thriving from that as well.
Awesome. We've got a couple of questions here, and one of which is, you're welcome, Stephanie. Can you only finance materials? For example, this person works for a sub with no upfront material cost. Their expense is payroll. What do we have to say about that, Andrew?
Yeah, payroll is a challenging one, right? Like you got to pay your crew if you want them to show up. Currently at Levelset, we help with materials financing. That said, we see a lot of people that need payroll financing. They tend to go toward factoring. In fact, factoring, staffing agencies are big customers for Factor. That said, Adam, we'd love to talk to you about your specific situation because there may be some alternatives that that we can work out with you, or at least help you connect you to one of our partners who may be able to help with your situation.
And there is another client that I have heard of out there that they just kind of adjusted how they handled their finances and how they approach that on a regular basis. So instead of fronting a ton of the material cost or paying for that up front, they substituted that with the materials financing so that they could come back and take care of the payroll on the immediate while waiting for the money to come in on that project. So it was basically just kind of adjusting how they looked at their day-to-day finances in the job, and they kind of slid payroll up to the cash flow portion and then have put materials on the financing portion. So
love that. Keep your cash, right?
Yep.
And so we have another one here, and just, getting a little bit more information regarding materials financing from Andrew. It says here, it's very difficult to finance these jobs when you're waiting months and months to get paid back. And we definitely understand that struggle.
Yeah, Bob, the way we've structured materials financing is around 120 days, 4 months to pay, right? We really want to align the way you pay for materials with the way that you get paid. It's a squeeze, right? You've got your material supplier saying, I want to be paid up front, or I want to be paid in 30 days, but you're not getting paid for 90 days, 120 days. I refer to it as paying chicken with payments, right? These suppliers, they give you 30-day terms. They know you're not going to get paid within 30 days, and you got to spend 30 days to go scramble and find the cash to cover that while you wait to get paid from the GC or the owner. We want to help you get rid of that. We're going to give you 120-day payment terms where you could pay us in 120 days or when you get paid from your GC, whichever happens sooner. And we're going to work with you. We're going to work with you so that the financing doesn't start until the materials hit the ground and you start work. There are ways that we can work with you to make this cash stress go away so that you can focus on building. That's what we want you to focus on. We want you to focus on building. We want you to focus on taking bigger jobs and more jobs and not stressing where you're going to get cash.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And Bob, I do hope that answered your question. If it didn't, pop something else into the chat and we can definitely address it. Something that I would love to ask the participants is, if there's something that we didn't cover here, what else would you like for us to have a webinar about, or maybe send out some content about? We are here as a resource and we are here to help you. And we want to be sure that the information we're giving you is exactly what you're looking for. So if there is anything that is a burning question that you would love for us to talk about, definitely pop that in the chat. And Bob, awesome. So he wants to know how to reach out after this meeting. That is a perfect segue here. We do have Rain's contact information here for any questions that you may have about financing. In addition, this entire deck will be emailed to you tomorrow along with a recording of this webinar. So whether it's Andrew, whether it's Rain, whoever you're interested in gathering information from, their contact information is in here. And you guys will have a chance to connect on that end. So as we kind of, perfect. There you go. And so again, as we kind of wind down on this webinar, if there's anything that we didn't cover that you would have liked for us to, or you have a burning question, pop that in the chat or send an email to Rain or Andrew. We're so grateful for everyone taking time out of their day to come to this webinar. Again, we want to be a resource and we want to be those that are empowering you to feel like you can get paid and you can do it quickly and you can keep your cash and finance your materials. There's a lot that we can help you with. So thank you to everyone who came out today. Rain, Andrew, do you have any parting words of wisdom?
Thank you all. Reach out if there's any way we can help you. We want to help you grow.
That's right.
I'll echo those same sentiments. It was an honor to be here with everybody, and hope you all are all going to be able to have a great day. So,
all right. Thanks for coming, everyone.